don't know if I agree with that anymore.
I mean, possibly.
Well, let me stop you there. I mean, one of the reasons why I'm so infuriated, and I'm sure it's unfair for me to take it out on my friend John Yarmouth, but when Trump came along, there were a few of us conservatives, Republican people in the Republican Party, who had the courage and the principles to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to be part of this. I'm not going to support this. I'm not going to enable this. This is not who we are. This is dangerous. And I'm willing to make a personal sacrifice to stand on principle. Now, unfortunately, a lot of my fellow quote unquote never Trumpers turned out to be total frauds. And they flipped eventually once they realized there was no, making money in an anti-Trump conservative world. And that was disappointing. But what really bothers me about Democrats and liberals is that COVID came along with Black Lives Matter, and not one Democrat, not one major liberal commentator had the balls to stand up and say, whoa, what are we doing here? I mean, Bill Maher, if you want to call him as such, was kind of the exception that proved the rule. He put his toe in the water at the beginning of COVID on HBO and immediately got all sorts of backlash, and he stopped because he got afraid. And there's a guy who'd been canceled previously and made a comeback. And his whole mantra is, he doesn't care about, anything supposedly. And so it really infuriates me that nobody on the left has been willing to stand up to what is obvious fascism and tyranny with regard to many of the COVID restrictions, especially in the blue states. Not one person has stood up. And that, as someone who stood up against Trump, that really infuriates me. It's not a perfect analogy, but I think it's closer than many people, especially on the left, would ever be willing to accept. They're two cults. The Trump thing is a cult, and the COVID thing is a cult now. And that doesn't mean, COVID's not a hoax. COVID's real, all that. But the response to it, the embrace of governmental tyranny that doesn't even fucking work. That's the part that really bothers me. I mean, if you're going to sell out everything you are as an American, it should at least be for something that works. But there's no evidence at all any of this works at all in combating COVID. And nobody on the left has stood up because they're so terrified of going up against Trump.
Pray for death, go for broke on a flatline romance.
Real quick, what sparked your interest in getting into journalism, especially economic journalism? Because that seems like a very specific niche to be going towards.
Right. So I do it all too. I mean, I write about culture, I write about politics, and then I do, when I say economics, what I really mean is policy, right? Whether it's like Biden's stimulus bill or minimum wage or rent control, that kind of stuff. Because for me, at least, those are the things that really matter. The policies that are crushing people's livelihoods and putting them out of a job, the policies that are making it illegal to go to work, or taxes that are taking God knows how much of your paycheck and burning it all away, and government waste and fraud and abuse. I have grown dissatisfied and disillusioned with kind of the media focus on what did AOC tweet today? What did Trump tweet? Well, I guess rip on that one. But right. But like this constant kind of, for example, the impeachment stuff that's going on right now. Like, it sounds bad to say this. I don't really care. I mean, it's all political partisans drama, and the Capitol stuff was bad. Yeah. But like, I think what is much more important actually, and will affect more people's lives, is not whether or not Trump is impeached or not, but whether or not Biden passes a $15 minimum wage nationwide and eliminates 4 million jobs. is it going to be, in the end of the day, much more impactful than kind of the partisan political stuff? So that's why I've been drawn in the last few years to the policy sphere.
It's nice for me to be able to come on like right now and do something solo, get my thoughts out, give you some perspective of things that are going on. Do goofy voices, and talk about, oh, hey, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, really? Yeah, Joe Biden's president now, by the way. No longer President-elect Joe Biden. Did anybody really think that something was going to happen to prevent that? Really? Now, let's scale it back. Anything can happen, obviously. Obviously, I get it. But it's amazing how my perspective switches depending on what's going on, depending what's in the forefront of the news. So Joe Biden's president now. He had an inauguration. I didn't watch all the festivities, but let's just pull this up real quick. We'll take a look. This is him getting sworn in, just so everybody realizes that this is a thing. This is real. It happened.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
So, there you have it. Joe Biden is president of the United States. And what has changed between last week and now? A face changed. Joe Biden did sign a slew, I think historically unprecedented amount of executive orders on day one. Most presidents don't sign any or only sign one. Joe Biden signed 15. 15 is this many. You ever see that Walmart sign? 15 is this many. It's 3 hands. That's beside the point. I'm not trying to choose my words carefully here. I'm not. Wheels are spinning in my head. First and foremost, people need to realize, I didn't care about Donald Trump. When Donald Trump became president, I did the same thing that I do every time somebody becomes president. Congratulate him. I give him a clean slate to judge him off of. And I have hope and optimism that they don't fumble the ball and put America in a bad situation. The libertarians probably might get a little sensitive as I talk now, because libertarians, Donald Trump wasn't. When did the registration as a libertarian come into play? Because
I think I registered as libertarian the first time in '96.
Okay.
Because I wanted to vote for Harry Brown.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're one of the Harry Brown originals, OG gangsters.
Yeah. Which is why I was so passionate about Jo Jorgensen running this past year, is because she was his Veep candidate in '96, and I thought that was fantastic. And then I would say probably '98, '99, I switched over to being a Republican, largely because I didn't want Al Gore to be president. Being an old heavy metal fan from back in the day, Al Gore's wife Tipper Gore, the PMRC, that whole thing. It was he had to be stopped.
Yeah.
And probably about, I think it was September 12th, 2001 was when I really took a step back and started looking at the world around me and said, wait a minute, something's amiss here. And that's kind of when I went full bore libertarian. We started seeing the government overreach. Not saying that 9/11 was an inside job or anything like that, but it was certainly used. The event itself was used to advance an agenda.
Yeah, and we're seeing patterns established here of government using things to their advantage,
Yeah.
whether or not we get into conspiracy theories and are they inside jobs or not. But definitely, when the government has an opportunity at their hands, they pounce on it. And if the government is efficient at one thing, it's that. It's finding a way to utilize something.
It is exploiting tragedy.
Yep, exploiting tragedy, increasing power, finding a way to make it work, which we're seeing it right now, active as it plays out. Using what happened on January 6th at the Capitol, using COVID, using what's happening at Wall Street over the past couple of days.
Yeah, using GameStop now.
Yep. GameStop's going to be like a Fortune 500 company.
Well, I think just from straight profits at this point, they technically are.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.